Hey, what's going on, guys? Patriot Prime here once again with another episode of the SITREP. And I am proud to announce that my guest for this episode, can't even talk already, is Alex from Toyhax. Alex is the manager of Toyhax.com. You guys know me and you know my love of Toyhax. I'm absolutely honored and thrilled that Alex agreed to join me for this session and to chat with you guys. Alex, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty great. We talked for a little while before the show. It got me nice and relaxed. I'm not nervous anymore.
Yeah, I have that effect on people.
Yeah, you're a very relaxing man.
I try my best. Well, if you want to tell my viewers a little bit about you and kind of how you got started, and then we'll kick off into the SITREP questions. And before Alex does get to talking, everybody hopping into the chat, this is going to be a Q&A with you guys as well, but I do want you to wait until the end of my 10 questions before you start asking Alex yours. So with that, Alex, tell everybody a little bit about you.
All right. Well, like you said, I'm the manager here at Toyhax. I come up with most of the ideas for the sticker sets. Occasionally, I like to get involved with the design too. My most recent feat that I'm super proud of is the monster set, but I'm sure we can get into that later. Yeah. Started helping out with Toyhax when I was younger than I can remember. I think one of my first memories is probably of my dad giving me a sticker set at the time that he had just done for the Constructicons, and realizing, hey, you know, these are pretty cool. I might like this a lot. And just gradually got more and more involved as I got older, and you know, took out the garbage for years and swept around here for years, and then started, you know, helping out making the sticker sets and, you know, running maintenance around here with the printers and whatever else. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Anything else you think I should get into? Yeah.
So definitely a starting from the ground up type of story. Mm-hmm. That's really cool. That's how you work your way to the top, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, guys, if you're not familiar with how the SITREP works, the SITREP is 10 questions that I have for my guest. It used to be when I interviewed YouTubers, it was 5 questions about them as a collector and then 5 questions for them as a YouTuber. My final 5 for Alex here will be about Toyhax. So, Alex, if you're ready to go, we'll start off with these questions and start with the Transformer toys and collecting with question number 1 is, what is the appeal of Transformers for you?
Okay, so for me, I want to say that it's the world of Transformers, just the environment that was created with the lore, with the characters, with the kind of story writing that was established in G1. And this is no secret to anybody who knows me, I play with my toys and I come up with my own stories, and they're all terrible. And that doesn't matter to me anyways. But what I really like is just coming up with stories with the characters and with the setting that was put in place by, you know, the cartoon and the comic early on. And I just think it's a fantastic world. And there's just so much potential for stories that you just can't really get anywhere else. And the lore just keeps being built on and built on. And anytime that Transformers gets reimagined, it is some variation of what was there before. And so even though I've never really gotten into a franchise as much as I got into G1, each time that one of these new shows or comics comes out, I get a chance to see, okay, so what did you guys do with this world? What was your take? How did your characters navigate through that? And that's it. I mean, I just really like the characters. I like the setting. I like how the stories play out in the Transformers universe.
And that's what's kept me going. I love the stories with this universe and how it just keeps getting built more and more and more. And it's almost kind of like Star Wars, because all of a sudden you'll take this little random character like Hubcap, who you haven't heard of since 1987, and all of a sudden new character. He's got some background story, and I love it. It's just awesome. And like you, growing up G1, it's so awesome to see those characters that I grew up with today. I mean, there's Optimus Prime as a trailer truck on the toy shelf right now. So that's awesome.
Yeah, For sure. And the pairing of characters is one of my favorite parts about the Transformers world. There is an abundance of characters, and most of them have not been defined. And so you have your core characters that you're used to, that you know well, like Ironhide and Optimus and you know, all the main characters. But you can throw in Micromaster Tote in there, and you can look at his tech spec and go, okay, well, you know, how does this character interact with Optimus Prime? How would that happen? And you can just make endless episodes like that. So many of the G1 episodes were just them introducing a new character. And the whole premise of that episode is basically, how does this character interact with the rest of the characters? And there's an endless supply of new characters.
I think that's why I like Marvel G1 so much, because where the cartoon stopped, Marvel G1 expanded. I mean, the Pretenders wouldn't be near as popular as they are today if it wasn't for Marvel Comics. I mean, who would have give a rip about Thunderwing and Bludgeon if it wasn't for Marvel Comics? And I want a new Thunderwing, people. That's a figure I want so bad. All right, question number 2. This is a good lead on from what we just discussed. Aside from G1, which is always the number one answer, what is your favorite Transformers fiction?
I like it. You know what? It's a tie between animated and Beast Wars. And obviously both shows follow a similar format of having a small cast of characters. Beast Wars built on the lore of G1 by a lot. They really took it upon themselves to just expand the universe. And I thought that was pretty cool. And of course, the show was very well written, and I've met a couple of the voice actors that were involved, and they're incredibly talented people. And by the way, once you meet a couple of the voice actors involved in Beast Wars, you've met half of the voices of Beast Wars. There were only so many of them. And then animated was just such a cool take. I was really fixated on the idea that Optimus Prime wasn't this already established leader of the Autobots. I thought that was really cool. Just the slight twist of, okay, it's a small cast, and Optimus Prime is young and inexperienced and doesn't have a whole lot of authority. And I thought that was really cool. I like stories where the heroes, I like underdog stories.
And it was cool because in animated, I mean, Megatron was this seasoned warrior. And here Optimus Prime, I'm trying to remember, wasn't he a miner or space bridge technician? And all of a sudden he's going up against the Decepticons, the higher up of the Decepticons. It was pretty cool. Animated was one show I didn't get into at first because the animation really threw me off. I just thought, this is too kiddie for me. But as I've said many, many times with these Transformer shows, I love how they start off kiddie. They're like, okay, 10-year-old Timmy's watching this. And then about halfway through season 1, they realized Timmy got bored with it, but his dad's watching. So what's the mature level on this show?
Yeah, it's got great story writing, just like G1, in my opinion.
All right. Well, number 3, this is going into the toy section now. Do you have a favorite figure, a grail in your collection? This is one figure. Say you have to sell everything. This one figure is not leaving. This is the one that's going to stay in your collection.
Top Heavy. He was the Action Master partner for Skyfall. He's a toy that I've had for a very long time. I don't know if you know who it is. It's he was a little rhino, orange and purple. He transformed like most of the other Action Master partners into a cannon of sorts, into a gun. It's such a simple toy. There's no posability. There objectively isn't anything special about it whatsoever. But I've had it my whole life. I worked it into one too many stories. Yeah, there you go.
There he is. Good old Google.
Yeah. Top Heavy's a great figure. And there aren't enough of those G1 era animal Transformers. And so any of the ones that there are, I'm a big fan of. But for some reason, I really narrowed in on him.
That's cool. I only have 2 Action Masters in my collection. I've got Croc, and the only reason I got him is because he was Bludgeon's second command in Marvel during the last couple episodes. And I've got Bonsai-tron just because I found him for $10 at a thrift shop.
Cool, cool. Yeah, Action Masters are underrated. Some of those vehicles were pretty cool, and in my opinion, the partners were the coolest thing about it. They were all awesome, and if you're into collecting Micromasters, which I am, those make for some really interesting extra figures to pair in with the mix. And you can usually get a decent... I don't like their gun modes, but you can usually configure them in a way that they make a pretty decent cannon mode. This is a trick that that I learned from my dad. Kind of Galvatron-esque cannon modes, in that they don't really look like any real cannon, but you can, imagine that they do. And they're just great. They're great for that scale, and they have great designs. And yeah,
I'll have to play around with mine a little bit. Like I said, I got the two I got. You got Croc has a Gator. Gator target I don't think Target Master, Battle Action Master, and then I got Bonzatron's as a crab thing. So I'll have to fool around with those a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. I know this question was hard on you trying to figure it out, but I got to ask it anyway. What figure is your white whale? This would be a figure you would love to have.
Yeah. So the reason that this was a hard question for me is because I'm a pretty laid back collector. For the most part, I don't tend to want to complete any lines. I'm happy to just pick up the odd toy every now and then if I come across something that's really interesting to me. And otherwise, I can just, survive with my current assortment of incomplete Micromaster patrols and whatnot for the rest of my life. But that being said, if there were one that I would get, it would be a complete Countdown G1 base. That thing is a work of art, and someday I'll have to do an upgrade sticker set for it because the screens are gorgeous, but you can probably, bring up the ante on that.
And with mine, in order to get mine in my display, I came up with a secondary or a third transformation to get him all on my shelf. I have to send you a picture later on.
For sure.
All right. And our last Transformer question is, what is your favorite Transformer character? Any fiction, any media. It doesn't have to be a toy. Your favorite character.
It's funny. I was just reading through the questions, preparing myself to answer all of them, and I glossed over that one. I didn't even think about it, and so now I'm stuck. But
yeah, live. You got 42 people watching you right now.
Oh yeah. So I guess maybe I'll name a couple. I think Galvatron in season 3 is really underrated. If only because I think that a big part of the value behind the Transformers stories is what happens when you put this crazy character with this crazy character. And I think that Galvatron was obviously a really explosive character. And so I think that made for a lot of good stories. I don't think there had really been anybody like him up until that point. He reminds me of Tuco from Breaking Bad. Just this crazy, like he'll shoot you if you so much as say something slightly wrong, but he's also really intelligent.
Now you're right.
He's a really cool character, and he's like a gang boss. He doesn't necessarily have the tact that Megatron did, but nonetheless, all of that same drive is there. All of that same respect for power is there, and yeah, I think, and you know what? I'll end it there. Galvatron's a great character. There's no second.
And I loved how he was portrayed so different in the cartoon. I mean, he was crazy in the cartoon, and then he was like super crazy in the comics. I mean, it was just it worked great. I mean, I loved him. And I remember after seeing him in the movie, seeing him in the comics, and then seeing the toy, I'm like, what the hell is this? Because the toy looked nothing like Galvatron.
Yeah. Wasn't the comic version of Galvatron supposed to be maybe it wasn't official, but wasn't the idea that he was supposed to be a future version of the Galvatron from the cartoon?
He was, and I think in the UK it was the Galvatron from the cartoon. And then that one was killed during the Time Wars storyline. I'm sure somebody will correct me if I'm wrong. Time Wars, great story. And I think when Simon Furman left the UK to write for Marvel, he brought Galvatron back from an alternate universe, and they were calling it Galvatron 2.
Yeah, and my understanding of that Galvatron was it was at least supposed to be so that it could be that Galvatron from the cartoon, but from the future.
Right.
Which is really cool. People don't acknowledge that crossover enough.
Like you said, the stories, man, that's what keeps us coming back to these things.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, here is the questions that everybody's been waiting on. These are the Toyhax questions. And number 6, first Toyhax question. What brought on the creation of repro labels, as I used to know it, Toyhax?
Well, that was all my dad. So this would have been 1999, I want to say. And my dad, I won't get into any of the specifics, but realized that he needed maybe to finance his collection a little bit better. And so he started selling stickers online, based on whatever labels from the G1 original toys were peeling off. And he was just reproducing those stickers. And from there on out, there were years of just reproduction stickers. And eventually that morphed into making our own stickers. So that's the short version. It was started out as a project of my dad to make some extra money for his collection, and it just gradually became what it is now.
And it's such an awesome option for us collectors to have. I know there's some G1 purists, if they find a Generation 1 figure, they would not tear those decals off for nothing. Mm-hmm. But if you're like me, I like to have my stuff looking pristine. And I think I've told you in chat before that there is probably 80% of my G1s that have been enhanced thanks to your company. I've got them looking nice and pristine. And I think I first discovered you, it may have been in 2012. I think the very first set I ever bought off of you was for a Generation 1 6-shot. Because I completely restored one, and I found just by chance, I was looking up decals and seeing them on eBay. And of course, with eBay, if you bought the decals, you never know if they're going to stick or not. Mm-hmm. And then there's a little thing on the side from Google, repro labels. Like, what's that? Boom. There we go.
Yeah. It's we still have all of those G1 repro labels on our site, and for sure, it's difficult to find such a large inventory online of G1 reproduction stickers.
Well, this is the next one that's going to get a reproduction from you. I found this at a toy store a couple weeks ago. A Generation 1 Trailbreaker, 100% complete. Stickers aren't bad, but they're peeling in a few places. And, little Timmy back in the day never put them on straight. And
right.
Noise a perfectionist like me. So he's going to get the Toyhax flashbacks treatment.
It's so frustrating for me because I tend to really focus on stickers when I'm looking at toys, which isn't, of course, normal. Most people look at the toy, and I can't help but focus on the stickers. And you'd be amazed at how many galleries there are online of G1 toys with beautiful pictures, perfect shots showing all the angles, very well done, very professional, and all the stickers are just crooked. And just because whoever applied them in the 80s, nobody took that off, and whatever kid did it at the time didn't put any real thought into how they were supposed to be applied. And so that tends to really frustrate me.
You get the wrong sticker in the wrong spot. Like, why'd you put the Autobot symbol over his face? I remember back in the day, my dad would get mad at me because it was like his relaxing thing to do, kind of like the way it is for me now. I love putting on Toyhax decals. For me, it is relaxing. Mm-hmm. I just I turn on the music and I'm doing my thing. But I remember my dad getting mad at me because he'd want to put the decals on my G1s. I'm like, no, I want to do it because I was still a perfectionist then, making sure I matched those up perfectly. I remember looking at the instructions and looking at the box art, making sure it was right.
Yeah. That's great.
All right. Question number 7. You and your team's creativity always impresses me. Where do you guys get your inspiration and ideas from?
I'd be lying if I said we had some elaborate, clever process. It usually is a matter of me playing or somebody playing with the toys for longer than a person is supposed to be able to play with toys during a workday. And eventually, you're bound to come up with something creative. You're bound to come up with some, potential conversion idea or whatever it is. I can talk a little bit about this guy, our monster set. In this case, it was just a matter of me messing around with the toy and coming up with like an alternate mode for him, and that never made it into the sticker set. But I was trying to come up with like a different, and I never really came up with anything great, but I was trying to come up with a different way that he could hold a shield, that maybe could incorporate sound barrier. Trying to find an interesting way of putting his robot, what's the name for it? The battle. Yeah, there's a name, battle deck, so that he could put the battle deck on his back. And eventually I came up with the idea of doing an armored Prime, like this would be the upgraded Prime. And so I just ran with that idea. And eventually I realized, hey, this works better as an evil Prime. And so maybe that's the direction I want to go in. But yeah, I mean, we don't have any process. We just have too much time on our hands.
Well, that's great. And well, let me make sure this question I'm about to ask doesn't blend into something else. It does. It's going to blend into question number 8. So I'm going to ask it here in a minute.
Oh.
So, but that's really cool. And I love the conversion sets. They are so creative, and they cost me because I have to go out and buy another Ironworks. I have to go out and buy another Cliff Jumper, but it's so cool how you'll take one character and completely flip it around. And I know when I do the reviews and I'll post pictures like, well, who the hell's Rot? I'm like, well, watch the video. You'll see what's his backstory.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Question number 8. I've noticed some new G1 sets starting to show up on your site. Are you planning on doing more G1 repro labels? I like to call the G1 ones repro labels that you've yet to tackle, such as the Pretenders or more Micromaster sets. And I'll admit it right now, I loved those Micromaster upgrades. I have bought every one that you ever put out. This is back before I even did reviews on them because they look so good, because Micromasters are awesome, but by God, they look plain.
Yeah, and thanks for that. The Micromaster sets are probably the ones that we are the most passionate about, because my dad and I are both Micromaster collectors. And so we can't help but care a little bit more about those ones. But that being said, it's become clear to me recently that it's high time that we start to address some of the earlier G1, maybe G2 toys that we didn't address at the time that we were really, focusing on repro sets. It's not going to be a high priority of ours, because admittedly with most of these sets, there just aren't that many people that are interested. But it's the kind of thing that I'm jumping on opportunities as they come forth. So recently somebody contacted me regarding their Micromaster tanker truck. And they said, hey, I've got a G1 sticker set that's complete and it's in good condition. If I provide you with that, do you guys think you'd be able to reproduce it? And whereas maybe a couple of years ago we would have said, hey, we don't have the time to work on those sets. Lately I've been more so inclined to say, yeah, for sure, send it over, and we'll throw that into the workload. Because there are a number of sets that we haven't gotten to yet, and it'd be nice to be able to complete that.
Now there's a couple I like, the Decepticon sets. The Cannon Transport, it's that purple one, that Mad Max looking vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
That could go for a upgrade. I think would look awesome, more Mad Max theme. And the missile, Micromaster Missile Transport. Those are two fairly plain ones. Now, another thing I want to bring up while we're talking about G1s, especially because let me get back in front of the mic, especially because I know you got a Scorponok set coming up. I don't know if you guys have seen these. These are the G1 upgrades that Toyhax does to make the G1 figures look more cartoon accurate. This right here probably would cause a G1 purist to blow his mind, because I peeled off all the original stickers off my original Generation 1 Bruticus to give him this brand new look. He's very cartoon accurate, and I think he just looks amazing. So kudos on this. This is a fantastic set. I love your upgrades. I've since got the G1 Metroplex upgrade, the G1 Triptychon upgrade. The only one I haven't got upgrade wise, I think I've done every upgrade that you came out with except Fort Max, because most of his is for city mode, and I display him in robot mode.
Oh, on that subject, my turn to go pick something up. I will be right back.
It's show and tell time. Well, you're getting yours, and we'll put mine back on the shelf. Intermission. Oh, there he is. There he is. I'm excited for this.
All right, so you were talking about new G1 upgrade sets. So now this is not the way to premiere a sticker set, because this webcam isn't going to provide very good, representation of how the stickers look. And before I show it, this is also mainly for city mode, because that's where the sticker potential is. That being said, we have wrapped up an upgrade set for G1 Scorponok, and he's got these beautiful windows here. He's got extra accents in the claws to give it some depth, all that gunmetal there. And so we're not done. We're still.
Are there chrome decals on the shield pinchers?
Absolutely. Here, let me.
I thought I noticed that in the pictures you sent me. Oh, yeah. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
And then a cartoon accurate chest, or styled chest. And we've even got some, let's see, can I show this properly? Is it going to show? Oh, no.
Yeah, web, hold on. I'm going to blow you up. I should have done this to begin with. Now we can show it off a little better.
Okay, well, I don't know if the light's reflecting off of it properly, so I won't be able to show what I wanted to show, but what we did is we provided little scorpion eyes for the actual scorpion head, because that was a big pet peeve of mine, that the scorpion head didn't really have much of a resemblance to, what it was supposed to look like. But,
yeah, the screws and the antennas as the eyes. I'm looking at mine now.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's all kinds of nice stuff on the legs with the hydraulics in there, and then the extra added orange. There's some cool stuff going on in the tail, some replacement chrome for the accessory here. So, yeah, we will be showing the full set on the website shortly. Yeah, so if nothing else, that shows that we're still doing upgrade sets.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Awesome.
All right, so let's see. Question number 9. What is let me try this again. What's your favorite set that you've ever come up with?
So you're right. This did end up bleeding into the question before. That's probably the monster set that we recently did. And I think a big part of that is because halfway through designing the sticker set, I decided I'd rewatch Dark Awakening. And I realized what an awesome episode that is. It feels like a movie, just a little more fast-paced. The writing in it is exceptional. Optimus Prime is portrayed or is written really well. Even in spite of the fact that he's a zombie in that episode, just watching his internal struggle and how he ends up sacrificing himself in order to protect the Autobots, and just the whole, like, if you're into the Star Wars kind of story, the fleet attacking the Quintesson base was really cool, and even just little moments like Cyclonus rescuing Galvatron while the rest of the sweeps escaped, I thought were cool. And so I was so inspired while doing the sticker set that I just wanted this to be like the perfect representation of that version of Prime. As if
I cannot wait to get it. This was a set. It doesn't happen often, but I saw this set on Toyhax. I had no intention of buying this figure. Then I saw that set and I was like, I have to have that figure, that character in my collection. And fortunately, Amazon dropped these down to $34.99. So it worked out perfect.
Awesome.
So I cannot wait to get that set and do you a proper review of it. And hopefully get you some cells, some
Yeah, that's great. The electrocution bolts on it, those are actually from that episode. There was a point at which they were trying to show that Prime wanted to, follow his, do right by the Autobots and follow his own judgment and try and have some free will as to what was going on, but to show that the Quintessons were enacting control over him, green sparks or green lightning bolts came out of his chest. And so I paused the video right away, and I realized that's what I want on the trailer, and that's what I want on the chest. And so I hand drew it because I couldn't properly trace the one from the episode, and that ended up becoming.
I am tore on the decals just by the pictures alone, because I like the green lightning on the chest, but I really like the metal Road War-ish bars. They're on the windows too. So that may be what I go with to give the cab a little bit different look than the trailer, but we'll see. I mean, it comes to the point in my Toyhax decals, a quarter flip usually decides which one I'm going to use.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Sometimes there's too many good options to choose from, huh?
That they are. Yeah. I don't want to have to buy so many figures. All right, last question is, do you have any goals for Toyhax in the future? And where can our viewers find you? Plug yourself, which is kind of a given. You're toyhax.com, but what future goals do you have for Toyhax? I know you've got the Armory, which it seems to be like it kind of collapsed on itself and now is coming back. Is that the correct way to say that?
Yeah. Well, essentially, we came out with a line of guns. I'm forgetting the timeline, maybe 6 months ago. And it was going well, but people had some complaints about the sizing of the guns and about the way that the handles kind of plugged into the gun. Just so far as the aesthetic, it was a little blocky. And we weren't really liking our own colors, our own finish. And so that's been our big project right now. And we're really excited because it looks like we're ready to go. We've got a couple of guns up for sale on the website. Everything seems to be going well. And so we're, cautious about it, but it seems like we're ready to go full swing. And our aim is to offer the craziest selection of guns that you could possibly find online in a variety of colors and different sizes, and even to the point of being able to customize where the post is so that it can fit onto figures that have certain restrictions because of the molding. And that's going to be awesome. And I don't know about you, but as far as my collection goes, I'm always left a little disappointed with my gun selection. And my figures need an armory. So yeah.
I wish they would come out with a Robbie the Robot figure that looks like the one on the Toyhax Armory page with all the guns attached. That thing is so cool. And had to buy this because of you. Saw it at Walmart. So
that's very, very cool. We'll have to make a sticker set for it one day.
All right. Well, that wraps it up. That wraps up my SITREP questions for you. And now we're going to turn it over to the audience. So it's your time for some Q&A, but I want you guys to keep in mind that Toyhax is a business. Toyhax is a company. Think about what you're going to ask before you ask it, because some of the questions you may ask, we can't answer, or Alex will not answer. So I'm going to kind of filter through the comments now. And if anybody has anything they'd like to ask Toyhax, do it. Let's see here. What do we got? Now, I can almost answer this when he's talking about package tracking. With that, you can't really track the envelopes. You can track big packages, but you can't track envelopes. And I get a lot of people that ask me with my reviews, usually an average weight for a Toyhax decal set, it's anywhere from 10 to 14 days, and I've got it in hand. Of course, lately, especially here in the States with the election going on, there were so many mail-in ballots, and I know that really gummed up the mail system. But everything seems to be flowing fairly well now.
Yeah, and I can speak to that a little bit. I hear the complaint, and for now we try and offer just something that we know works and is affordable. But I am looking into better shipping options. It's not a promise. I'm trying to find something that's affordable. It will most likely be an additional option, so we will offer what we currently do for orders, but there is a possibility that in the near future that we add the ability to get your order sent to you tracked. So I am working on it, and it takes a lot of talking with various shipping companies and telling them how many packages I think I'll be able to send, and per month, and what kind of discount rate I get for that, and whatever.
And of course, the shipping rate just keeps getting higher and higher. I remember when I used to sell figures, I could sell a figure about this size and ship it for $5. Now it's like $8.
Yeah,
they went a piece. Now here's a question that I'm going to answer because we need labels for Hotlink. Hotlink is on the site right now.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, he's on there. And let's see. I had another one here. Here you go. That was the one I just had. They're flying by. There we go. Sticker set for Generation Selects Combat Hero Megatron.
That's the G2 green one that came out a while ago, right?
Black face.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not on the docket right now, but it's at the point now where we've done enough sticker sets for figures of that mold that it would be fairly easy to repurpose a lot of what we've done so far. So it's the kind of thing that's not at the top of our priority list, but should the opportunity present itself, where we get the toy in hand for whatever reason, we might just decide to bang one out quickly because we'll only have to do half the work.
Here we go. Do you think figures like Sunstreaker and B will get some labels? Pretty much every new figure coming out is getting labels. I've noticed that over the last few months. Yeah,
we'll absolutely be doing sticker sets for both of those figures. And good ones too. I actually am working on Sunstreaker right now. Bumblebee, not yet. But with Sunstreaker,
Bumblebee.
Yeah, I haven't checked out the pictures of the toy in too much depth yet. But I'd imagine there's something we can muster for it. For Sunstreaker, the real challenge is, can we do the color correction that everybody wants us to do? It's a question of, can we color match it better than Hasbro? Because we've noticed that it's just a question of what light you have on it. Is it a bluish light, or is it a yellowish light? And is our color matching better than that? And then it's also a question of how feasible are those shapes on the toys. So during transformation, or if we really want to cover all those spots, is it going to get rubbed off? And then I took a look at some of the shapes yesterday, and there's some pretty tough ones. So I think we can do it, but we're still working on it.
And Rodimus Primal asks if ERRC needs a set. The main thing that kept me from buying Earthrise RC was the fact she didn't have lipstick. Her face was just too white.
Yeah, well, that's another one that I'm going to try and do, but no guarantees. It's going to require some real conforming of the labels. Definitely heat is going to be recommended on the photo maps. But we'll see about that one. But we actually just started the sticker set today for RC.
Nice.
Yeah.
I haven't picked her up. I bought the Ratchet set that comes with the medic who shares her mold. So I may not have RC, but at least I'm going to have one mold of that figure.
Should be a good set.
Thanks, Kid Notorious.
Yeah. You send us a number of customers, so thank you very much for that.
Oh, you are welcome.
You give such nice reviews, which hopefully is because we give nice labels.
Yeah, nice products.
Not just because you're being nice. Yeah.
All right, I'm trying to flip through here. Here was one. I'm not familiar with these figures, so this is all you.
So Kingzilla, the artwork was started last week. And I know the timing of that is very strange because that's such an old figure and you just happen to be asking about it. But in truth, a lot of people have been asking about that particular set for a while now. And for the first for over a year, I kept trying to buy the toy, and something would happen to the package, or the seller would cancel, or whatever it was. And then once I got the toy, it ended up being a nightmare just trying to get the set done for various reasons that I won't get into. But it's underway. We are about halfway done now, so we will have that up soon.
Okay, I had another one here. There we are. This is one I'd like to know too, because that was such a cool idea.
Okay, so I want to say the initial idea, if I'm remembering it correctly, was to make a G2 Constructicon, because with what do we call them? Deadlift. With Deadlift, the idea was to make him a additional member to the G1 Constructicons. And when I got Rot in hand, and I was kind of looking at him trying to find a conversion idea, because he seemed like he lended himself well to that. Lots of flat surfaces, but also in part that the character wasn't, like, that representation of the character wasn't something that people were particularly attached to. It wasn't something that you had seen in the cartoon, and that you had your mind set on that being Ironworks. And Ironworks was already a pretty obscure character to begin with. So I was looking for an idea. I came up with the idea of it being a G2 Constructicon. All you had to do was add some purple. And then it was just a question of really what else can you do with the set? Because the purple doesn't do a whole lot. And I was talking with Ryan, one of our designers, and we came up with the idea that he would be a smelting facility. And that's something that the Constructicons would totally need, is additional resources. So it was all of that. We were kind of also thinking he could go with the upcoming Scorponok at the time. Yeah, I mean, that pretty much. Oh, and Ryan came up with the name Rot. It's a genius name for what he.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see what else we got here. They're scrolling around. Kid Notorious, thanks for the super chat, and he is asking about Mercenary Faction symbols.
We'll give that a solid maybe.
Let's see. Now here's another one from Rodimus Primal. Nope, that's not his. The Generation 1 Bombshell and Shrapnel sets a bit more cartoon accurate. Are these the Legend ones that came out a few years ago? Because I got those sets and they're pretty sweet.
Yeah. Well, I can say right off the bat, it's not like it. So you're right. First of all, it is the Legends ones that came out a little while ago. And all of them came out at totally different times too, which sucked because you had to wait, I think, a year in between each release. But there's not a good chance that we do that unless, for whatever reason, those figures get re-released. We might try a different take on them, but that's probably all we're going to offer in that department.
Let's see. I missed so many of these. These fly through. Here we go. This is someone who's interested in, say he doesn't want to buy a whole set. Can he just get one section of the set? Would that be an option?
We don't like to separate our sticker sets, especially when it comes to old ones. It's just difficult because we have such a large inventory to start doing piecemeal custom requests for each individual product. So we like to just come up with right from the get-go the not too many labels, not too many parts, just exactly what we need. And if we miss the mark, we miss the mark. But at that point, we have to start focusing on the new sets.
And Cato, if this pops up, thank you much for the super chat. And this guy, I'll guarantee you, he's going to buy a couple Sunstreaker sets off of you. That's his all-time favorite figure character.
Oh, yeah? Cool.
Character. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. Can you provide an Earth? Can you provide the Earthrise Scorponok to go with the sticker set? I can't find that figure anywhere. He sells out immediately. I bought mine from Big Bad Toy Store, and he showed up like 2 days later, and he was sold out. He's like, everything's pre-ordered once again.
You'd be surprised at how many people think that when they're buying our labels online, that they're buying the toys. It tends to be people who aren't Transformer collectors. So I got a call from a mom buying toys for her son, saying, I got the stickers, but where are the toys? And then she was saying, I paid $20 for stickers. Are you kidding me? And I wasn't gonna try and explain to her what it is we do. I just said, okay, I'll give you your money back. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You have no idea what you got yourself into. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to answer this one for Craig Oxford. They have an amazing set for the throttle bots. If you're talking about the G1 throttle bots, they're the upgrade decals. For example, Roll Bar gets a whole canvas roof. Everybody hates how I say roof. But yeah, great set. I plan on reviewing those throttle bots at some point, but they're awesome looking. Okay, here's an interesting one. I can foresee you guys making decals for the vehicles like Cyclonus and Warpath. I think the Beast may be a little bit difficult with the texture and all the curves.
Yeah, so I can tell you what I'm thinking now, but of course, it's going to depend on what happens when we get the toys in. For now, I'm thinking that the sets will just about only be for the robot modes, and it'll be about making it more show accurate and breaking up colors, adding metallic accents like we tend to do normally, and it'll probably be on the subtle side. That being said, I'm definitely going to look hard for any potential way we could do labels for any of the beast modes, if only as a challenge to myself. But most likely you'll see accent colors for the robot modes only, faction symbols, that sort of thing, and smaller sets.
Here's wrong one. These I have my cursor on them and then they flip by. Where did they go? Oh, here we go. I like this question. What was the most difficult set to recreate?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't involved in the vast majority of the reproduction sticker sets. That happened prior to the time at which I was involved in actually making any of the sticker sets. At that point, I was the guy cutting your sticker sets into size with a cutter, and the person doing the dishes. That was all I was doing at that point. But I mean, offhandedly, I'd say so many of them are crazy because they had some really intricate details. I would imagine that G1 Optimus Prime would be up there. I mean, that's an obvious answer, but if you really take a look at some of the artwork in the Greeble labels on the inside of the truck, that's just insane.
Well, there's a follow-up from the question earlier about separating the sticker sets. He's interested in the parts that come with some decal sets, not the stickers themselves.
Yeah, and to that, it's essentially, unfortunately, the same answer. We want to just keep our products as they are, and that's kind of what sets us apart, is that we do sticker sets that come with parts, or at least in the cases of those products, right? I mean, we don't do that every time, but if we're selling just the parts on their own, and if that's where we direct our attention to making products like that, obviously the gun line is kind of its own thing. But then we're not really excelling at what makes us unique, which is what you want to do.
Let's see. Here's one asking about some of your staff, maybe.
Yeah. So Aaron Black is my dad. He's the guy who started the company.
Ah, now okay, 2 and 2 just came together for me.
Yeah. And he's still involved, absolutely. He still runs the company. He's been far more involved with a lot of the gun line lately, but he still gets involved with the odd sticker set, and he still is involved in all of the other boring daily operational stuff, same as me.
Trying to see if I've missed anything. Here was somebody asking about Nemesis Prime. We was talking about this earlier, and yes, we've already discussed it. This is going to be a thing. I'm actually working on my review of this guy right now. Beautiful figure, but has some issues that I will go over.
Yeah, and of course we'll be doing a sticker set for that. We're actually talking about potentially separating the trailer sticker set so that we can do a few different variations of it. I hear that there's some interest for a G2 trailer. There's some interest to have the trailer work for Shattered Glass Prime, and so we're going to be looking into both of those.
Okay, here's one from Cato. Is there a figure that you think is too difficult to make a set for? Too challenging?
Well, the beast modes on the upcoming Kingdom line are definitely looking that way. But generally speaking, no toy really gets the treatment that it deserves. You can always tell that whatever the original designer had in mind didn't quite completely make it there. And then there's usually an alternate take on it that might be really interesting. And so it's been a while since I've really seen a toy where I just sat back and said, like, I don't think there's anything we can do for that. I don't think we can make labels for it. But of course, beast modes, that is definitely going to be a challenge.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you can come up with that, because like I said, the creativity that you guys put into some of these decal sets just blows my mind. With the monster, I think the one decal that sold me was the minigun with the ammo belt hanging down. That was awesome.
Thank you. I was thinking of Terminator.
Just, oh, bullets.
Yeah. I don't know if that's actually a Terminator thing or not, but it felt like a Terminator thing to me. And so that was the idea. But what's that, sorry?
Thinking more of a RoboCop 2. Remember, he had the minigun built into his hand?
Yeah, there you go.
Let's see. Now, here's one. I don't know. You can answer this if you want. I mean, he's just asking about the weapons. How do you make the weapons?
And unfortunately, that's something I don't want to get into because we have to work really hard on our processes there.
Fully understand. All right, let's see. Oh, here we go. Have you ever taken custom orders?
Can I get a Kato-themed Sunstreaker set?
I'm sorry.
I've done.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
Brain fart.
I've done a few custom ones, but it's not something that we do as a business. It's the kind of thing where if I've really had extra time, I've done, a couple, but for the most part, time that I could be spending, doing a custom sticker set, it's probably better spent working on a new sticker set for, some figure that maybe we wouldn't have addressed otherwise. And so we don't typically do that.
I'd say that would be kind of hard to put in, especially with everything, especially the way the Hasbro's just been cranking these toys out lately. Granted, they're all repaints, but they're repaints we all have to have.
Exactly.
All right, let's see. This kind of was a follow-up earlier to a question I asked, which is not that question. What's the best sticker set you have made? Of course, your favorite, you said, was the monster set, but as of ones you have made, what do you think is one of your best? I'm going to have to go with your G1 Triptychon. That thing was amazing, what you did for that figure. I mean, granted, the modern figures really add some, but Triptychon was so plain. And, of course, I had to buy an extra Triptychon so I could display mine in city mode to show those off.
First of all, thank you for that. That's definitely one of our proudest achievements as far as the sticker sets we've come up with. I mean, it depends on the metric that you're using, right, to gauge how good a sticker set is. But if you want to talk about the one that just really gives you the most bang for your buck, that just makes the right differences in all of the right spots, that would probably be the sticker set that we did for Downbeat a few years ago. That toy was just begging for an upgrade set. And of course, we came through and did that. And it's looking like the upcoming Jazz toy is going to need a similar upgrade set. I mean, of course, they're both G1 Jazzes, but it seems like he could really do with the sponsors and a revised stripe. And of course, fixing the number on the door is a requirement.
Let's see. Here's another request. I knew you turned a prow into an auto trooper. Somebody wanting to see if Siege Ratchet could become one, or Checkpoint.
It's not a bad idea. It's just a matter of can we make this toy look like it's not Ratchet, but still look like it could be somebody. And oftentimes I'll turn the head around and see, hey, does that look like it could be a face too, if there were some stickers added to it? And that was the case with Auto Trooper, thankfully. It looked like you could turn it around and add a visor, and that worked. So great.
The Junkion you made out of Wreck-Gar, where you turned his head around. What was the name of that? Trash mouth? Something
Trash
like that?
cannon. Yeah. And then Rubbish, where we used the combiner peg.
Made him look like a tricycle.
Yeah.
Here we go. What determines if a product gets retired or goes into no longer in production? I've noticed usually high prices on some of them due to that status.
It's a combination of how many people tend to buy it and how difficult it is to print. Without getting into the details, because I don't, I wouldn't even be able to say that right now. I'd have to look into it, but it's just, if something's not very popular and if something's hard for us to do to begin with, then we'll say, okay, look, we'll do it for you, but you're going to be the only person that's interested in it. So we might need to charge you a bit more so that it's worth our time to get that printed.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Let's see if I've missed any here. I'm trying my best to catch everybody's questions, so don't get mad at me if I miss you. I'm working on it. Let's see. I think I'm pretty much caught up. Oh, here we go. I know this happened to you big before. Has the COVID pandemic had a major effect on your normal product release schedule? I know it did at first. When this first hit, you guys didn't have any new product out for at least 3 or 4 months. Yeah.
Well, luckily we were able to continue the work, but we had to be really cautious about how much we could actually put out there, because we had to have everyone work remotely, which we had never done before, and so that was really difficult. And so we could only take in so many orders, and so to that effect, it did change that. And then of course there's talks of maybe another lockdown coming. So who knows?
Welcome to the club. It's going on here too.
Yeah.
I've had to take the rest of the week off because they finally closed down the school. So I'm going to be home with my son, at least till they decide. My wife has the option where she can work at home, but I have to go out. I'm out and in it every day. So,
yeah.
All right, here was one. This was a question I saw earlier and I missed it, and then I couldn't find it again, forgot about it. But fortunately, Galvatron here reminded me. Do you guys still have a connection with a UK distributor?
No. Well, it depends on how you define connection, right? Kapow Toys, they were operating as a distributor of ours for a while. I don't know if they still have any of our sticker sets, but I know that they're not restocking anymore. So as of now, no, we're not talking with any. We don't have a UK distributor per se, other than whatever Kapow Toys still has.
Okay, here's one from Fire Talks. Love the new monster set. Do you have any plans for glow stickers? I showed him the monster set earlier today. I talked to Fire Talks a lot. He hates me because now he has to go buy a new Dead Prime.
Yeah. By glow stickers, I take it he's talking about like our hollow glow stickers. That makes sense. It's not a style.
Glow in the dark.
Oh, well, definitely. Yeah, and we're not doing glow in the dark for now. Who knows? Maybe someday we will start offering glow in the dark stickers. But
do you honestly want to turn off the lights in your collection room to have somebody walk around to see your glow in the dark stickers?
Hey, if all the green were just glow in the dark, that would be pretty cool. If you turn off the lights and there's a monster Optimus Prime staring at you, it'd be menacing.
Oh, he says UV glowing in the dark. Well, I tell you what, it is at that hour mark. And like I told you earlier, I don't like to keep people a long time in these videos. So I think we're going to wrap it up. It's 10 o'clock now, and I got a little one to put to bed. Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk with us tonight and give us a little backstory with Toyhax, everybody's favorite decal company.
Thanks for having me on. This was a lot of fun. Like you said, it's crazy how long you can talk and not even realize that it's happened. We talked for just under an hour before the show, and then we talked for an hour on the show, and it just went by.
And what's amazing with this fandom is I've discovered, even talking with other YouTubers, we have never met each other. You and I have been talking via Facebook for months. But you hop on here, you feel like you've known each other forever, like we're sitting across a table at a bar somewhere having a conversation about robots. Of course, that was the bar. People be looking at us funny, but you know what I mean. Yeah, and it's just awesome that this community brings people together like the way it is right now.
Well, that's all you. You're great at your job, and you're good at talking to people. And as soon as we started the video chat, it was clear that, conversation's not going to be an issue. We can just keep going like this, and you're a very pleasant person. You've always got something interesting to say, I love what you do.
I'm not that creep, and just keep sending messages all the time. And Alex, he made me feel so good. He's like, when I first popped on the screen, he says, you are exactly how you are on YouTube. You're not a different personality on YouTube. And I've never heard that, but it never clicked before. But yeah, I've always been me, and that's just the way I like to portray it. What you see on here is what you're going to meet when you see me in person. Yeah,
well, you're so polished that, and you're, like I said, you're so good at what you do. You've got like a natural broadcaster type
you
voice.
Hear me when I really go into my radio voice.
There you go. And I just figured that was an act. I figured there's no way that somebody can be like that all the time. Like he has to, concentrate for 1 or 2 hours a day to sound that great and to be that interesting and be that nice. And the rest of the time, he's probably, can I swear? Yeah. But yeah, you're great. It's great talking to you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you for the sponsorship. I mean, you have helped add to the collection. Good. And to keep that product going and actually to show your product off. So thanks for that. I was really honored and floored the day you approached me with that. And that humbled me to no end. And I just want to tell you right now, thank you so much. I know you've heard it many times via the message, but now face to face, I really appreciate it. It really meant the world to me.
Well, of course, we believe in what you do, and we want you to be a lot bigger. And this works very well for both of us. So by all means, we should keep this going.
Excellent. And guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for stopping by and checking us out. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell icon to get notified when I upload new reviews. If you enjoyed the SITREP coming back, I'll try to get more people on here that we can get to know via these great plastic robots. So once again, this is Patriot Prime signing out. Hooah! And now we do this awkward pause. I reach down and click in broadcast.